Welcome lads, and today I'm going to be ranking every single FIFA in the last 11 years. If you guys do enjoy, let's smash 2,000 likes and also subscribe if you're new. We're so close to 250,000 subscribers. And also, most importantly, tell me down below in the comments, how would you rank your top 3 best FIFAs and your bottom 3 worst FIFAs?
Oh, it's me, Big Nose. Do you want the best player on the game? Well, you can't get D-Money because he's probably not in FIFA. So get Phil Bardsley. Get all the Phil Bardsley. So if you're looking for the best way to get coins, don't spend fewer points, go over to useandbuy.com for the cheapest place on the market for your coins. Use code Vizeh at checkout, and most importantly, enjoy the video.
My opinion on some FIFAs have now changed in recent months, and of course on FIFA 21, that will be debated on where will we place it in the grand overhaul of all my recent FIFAs. Of course, first things first, I will get some things wrong. I will maybe, you know, put your favorite FIFA in a lower or put your worst FIFA higher up. I think most things as community people agree on for the most part, so I don't think there'll be too many debatable ones, but maybe my favorite FIFA may not be the same as yours. So with that said, let's get straight into it, and just don't get too mad at me, okay? Let's go. Of course, we're on tier list, and if you guys do want to, you know, tell me your tier list, then I'll put a link down below in the description to this actual tier list tier maker, and you guys can take a screenshot and send me over on my Twitter at officialvizeh what would your tier list actually be, because I feel like we're gonna be all very quite different here. So let's begin with a middle ground one which I feel like most people won't be too fussed about. FIFA 18, one which is a kind of reset, a bit forgotten about. I'm gonna put it in, it's an okay, maybe in really good, depends on the SBCs and your thoughts on it. My thoughts about 18 is that I didn't play it that much. Of course, 40 games weekend league. Remember like Lozano, Alessandrini being very OP, low driven shots. But in terms of actual gameplay, it wasn't really that bad. Apparently, like the best patch or the best gameplay there ever was in fact back in FIFA 18 when it was pre-patch FIFA 18. Apparently that's the best one. I'm thinking of the recent FIFAs. I want to put it in like really good or like it's okay. Like it's in the middle of it. I don't think it's that bad looking back on it now, really. The one annoyance is the World Cup mode that I feel like that should prepare it up, but because of how poor it was for me, because I feel like they wasted it a bit. Like it was really enjoyable, but then within like 4 or 5 days, I think less than that actually, they then put out a repeatable icon SBC, which meant that everyone just had the best players instantly. So it kind of ruined the RTG grind for me, really, because it'd be way too easy to actually get good players. So it's good. I want to say it's in good, not really good, just good. I'm going to change that because I don't think 18 is particularly amazing, but I think that it's, looking back on it, it wasn't as bad as what we may have thought at the time. Let's go for a big one here, and I'm going to go with FIFA 15. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. 15 is actually is a very good FIFA of mine. When you think of 15, you think of the Doombias, the Abarbos, the Jovinios, the Serie A squads, or the BPL teams of Sturridge and Schürrle and Quadrado, or maybe Robin. There's a lot of very good players in this FIFA, and they had footies, they had quite a few nice little promos as well, which made it a bit more unique across the year. The gameplay I actually really enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed playing FIFA 15. Like, I just remember playing with like Adrian Ramos in a Bundesliga team very early on, and I just have fond memories of that. My only issue is the price ranges, which completely pretty much killed off the game for half of the year, because a lot of players that you really wanted was no longer there. They were extinct. Like, you couldn't even get them anymore. So for a large portion of the year, a lot of players just weren't on the market anymore. Bringing in price ranges, which is a huge part, you know, massive new change to the entire market half through the game, made it kind of confusing for everyone. Therefore meant that people just couldn't play the game in the way that they wanted to, and that kind of made it a bit of a worse experience for everyone else. 15 also had the Premier League graphics, so in career mode it really made a big step up that you had like brand new Premier League graphics, which really made it very interesting to do a career mode, because it felt a lot more special, you know, for career mode people. So I'm gonna put it in almost perfect, and the thing which really tears it down for me is the price ranges for, you know, almost half a year. That a lot of players on Ultimate Team just weren't accessible, really. Let us go for a old one here. Let's go for a FIFA. Let's go with FIFA 10. FIFA 10. I don't have really that many memories of FIFA 10, really. It's just kind of there. My first thought is it's good, but because I don't really remember it much, I I can't really say much about it. Ultimate Team was in fact first really brought in this, I think it's FIFA 09, but like that was like a DLC. That era is like a completely different world to what we have now, so I can't really compare it in the same way, really. I guarantee that career mode was definitely better back then. I guarantee it was. I guarantee that like career mode, like in terms of like sponsors or development, was probably a lot more interesting back in these days. FIFA 16, it's just, in my opinion, FIFA 16 is definitely the most, like, boring FIFA. I want to say boring. The kind of style of the menus and FUT, and, like, I kind of just didn't vibrate that much. It did have a pretty good soundtrack, so for that reason, I may, in fact, push it a bit higher up to the it's okay. But just from what I remember, mainly FUT-wise, it just was nothing special. It felt like what it was, which is like just a FIFA in the middle of the actual big boy important things, which is 17, which had FUT Champions, which had many brand new features. What can you name me in FIFA 16 which was actually like important? FUT Draft, that's it. There, stadiums in the background, remember that. But then it was only for that FIFA and that FIFA only. Then we never saw it ever again. The gameplay was a lot better. So for that reason alone, I'm going to put it in okay. If I'm comparing 16 gameplay in the way that it was in the skill gap, it's definitely a lot bigger than what it is now in my opinion. So I'm going to put it in just it's okay, but for me it was quite boring to play. Right, it's time for a lower tier one. And I'm going to put in FIFA 19 in quite bad. I want to put it a bit higher or a bit lower at the same time. The game was broken. In almost every single sense, the game of broke. I've gone through it enough times, but, you know, Leka Keta, El Tornado, green time headers, green time crosses, like, there's so many very, kickoff boots. But the issue is that actually, in a weird way, made the game feel quite fun. I don't want to say it's the worst FIFA, and I don't think that anymore, because the fact of the matter is, it actually was quite fun to play at times, even though it was broken. It's like Modern Warfare 2, when like, it was that's a completely broken game, but because of how broken it was, people enjoyed it more because it was easy to get kills. In the same way that it was easy to get goals in FIFA 19. And also, in terms of the menus, it was very fast, very good, clean menus. SBCs felt nice and smooth, felt fast to do. So, in that reasoning, it makes me think that I want to put it in it's okay. Content was really good. I think the content in the SBCs, the menus, like, it felt really fast, really smooth, and I really enjoyed that part of FIFA 19. I actually would rather play 19 than play 21, I think, just because I think dribbling was a lot more enjoyable. What about FIFA 14 then? 14, a very iconic, very well-known FIFA, and I mean, it's just in God tier, isn't it? It's just in God tier. Just the amount of variety that you had of the players that you can use and pick, from silver to gold to Liga NOS to BPL and Serie A, but also to the Eredivisie. So many fun players that you can use, make different teams. You could just play the game just to play the game, and you could have fun with it at the same time. That's something that we don't have now, and I actually really enjoyed that of 14. Yes, headers were very broken. Headers was definitely broken. I can definitely confirm that to you. But in terms of FIFA which I put the most time in, 14 is definitely like high up there, my top 2, top 3 of the games I put the most time into. It's what started off my YouTube, man. I started YouTube off with FIFA 14, doing wages and ping slips, and I love that part of, the FIFA time and the community. So, YouTube was so much better back then as well. Alongside that, I'm gonna put in a very popular one, and that is FIFA 12. For me, it's I don't know. I may actually put it in God tier, but for one reason and one reason only, which really, I love this part of FIFA. FIFA 12 was like the only FIFA that I actually really cared about head-to-head seasons. Head-to-head seasons back in FIFA 12, I played a lot. Division 1, I thought I was amazing. Packing an Inform was like the best moment of my entire life. It was so rare. And also, the Euro 2012 DLC added on game mode was absolutely unreal. You start with a brand new team, you made your own nation almost, and then you go through the group stages, and you actually, if you win a game, you can like take place on their team to add on to your new nation. And I really enjoyed that game mode. I actually played that a lot. I thought that was so cool, and because of that reason alone, we've never seen anything like that ever since. I kind of make your own nation, make your own club, you kind of go through the rank. We've not really seen that really happen since, and I feel like that is an absolute shame. So for that Euro 2012 game, which I really enjoyed, I'm going to put FIFA 12 in God tier. Because, of course, don't forget the Brazilvers, the Brazilian Silvers, man, you know, Wellington and Michael Liete, and of course El Shaarawy as just OP players. You can use Silvers and it doesn't matter. Nilmar and like Bon Lahore, Alessandro Pato and Zlatan Ibrahimovic, many fun cards you can use. Again, back in the day, people didn't care about rewards and packs, really. They just cared about just playing the game. Let's go for a lower tier one, and I'm going to go and put in FIFA. Let's talk about FIFA 20, shall we? Really, it's between FIFA 20 and FIFA 21. FIFA 21 would by far be better than 20, in my opinion. If EA could just stop patching it. At the start of the game, I remember this fondly. I remember telling you guys at the start of the game, saying, look, okay lads, 21, you defending makes a difference. If I rush out to you, your player can run past my defender quite easily, which means that I have got to defend better and that I will get punished if I make a mistake. That was what the game was like. It was very hard to defend at the start of the game because it actually made a difference on what you did. Nowadays, it's very easy to defend because they've pushed up the AI blocks, they've pushed up the speed of your defenders and how quick they can recover. And now FIFA 21, from what I've seen, is like a 5-3-2 masterclass now. It's just people playing 5 at the backs with this just counter-attacking football, and I would put 21 easily better than 20. But it seems like now, with the patches, it seems like it's getting worse and worse and more kind of poorer the further we go on ahead, and I'm stunned by how we've pulled this off. What I could say about 21 is that this is the earliest that I've ever stopped playing FIFA. Like, I didn't even last until Christmas, lads. And I do think recency bias does play a factor here, that I kind of forgot about 20 and what was really bad about it. I've kind of completely forgot it, lad. I'm gonna put both of them in the bin. I can't decide. I cannot decide. I've stopped playing FIFA by December, lads. The game has been out for less than 3 months, and I stopped playing the game because of just the repetitive nature, the competitive nature, the repetitive nature of everyone's teams and tactics. I'm not even going to have a quite bad level, just put it to both of them in the bin. I can't decide on both which one's better. They're both bad in their own ways. So I'm going to just put both in the bin. FIFA 17. FIFA 17. I've got to put it as perfect. I've got to put it as God tier. I think 17 is God tier now. I actually think that. Looking at the gameplay, looking at what we got from that year in all aspects, pro clubs, career mode, mainly FUT as well, the gameplay, how fast paced it was, how big the skill gap was, good things for you to actually acquire and to not be overwhelmed. FUT Champions and SBCs are the two biggest things that we've ever had, and they were both in the same FIFA. FUT Champions for this first year was actually quite enjoyable because it was so new and people didn't really know where they stand, so they just kind of had fun with it and just tried out new teams. There was different FUT Champions weekends that you could try out different teams. They forced you to have a certain level of rating or certain level of players in your team. Also, DKTs was in this FIFA. Custom Tactics didn't have Pot the Bus. It was a lot more enjoyable and a lot more kind of free-flowing than what it is nowadays. With all that combined, 17 for me is a perfect FIFA. I think it offers enjoyable gameplay, which were balanced, and also were actually enjoyable with a high skill gap. You can score goals, but it meant that if you were good at defending, it actually made a difference. How you passed the ball, how fast-paced the actual game was, made you actually had to be better at the game than other people as well. And don't forget, the menu content SBCs, Pro Clubs had quite a few features that were changed this year, and then also quite a few new promos that's happened since then. So like, I believe there was a screen promotion, there was also for birthday, and probably a few more as well that I can't think of right now. It's a perfect FIFA for me. Altogether, everything combined, 17 has got a perfect balance of everything. And that means FIFA 13, I'm going to put it in almost perfect. I think it's better than FIFA 15, just from my own personal nostalgia, but it's high up there. I don't want to put too many games in the God tier, but 13, I prefer 12 just for the variety of players. because I feel like everyone did kind of just use, 3-5-2s with S1 and Royce up top. So I think 12 had that Brazilva kind of aspect to it. It had a bit more to really offer in terms of the really cool teams. But I love the style of 13. The menus, I loved it. Career mode, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the aesthetics and the vibe of 13. Of course, 13, 12, 14, 15 had all amazing soundtracks as well. Don't forget about the soundtrack. So I'm going to put 13 in almost perfect, just because I can't have too many games in God tier for me personally. And then that's really it. 11 isn't actually below here. I can't really see 11, so whoever made this didn't put it. I could do like these FIFAs, but I don't think it really matters. I can't remember. Can you remember FIFA 04? I don't. If there was FIFA 11 here, then I'll put it also in good. I'll put it probably higher than 18. But yeah, I'm going to just end it there. Tell me your thoughts down below in comments. That's my ranking of the recent FIFAs. Again, it is my opinion, so you may think that FIFA 19 is worse, and maybe you may think it is, or maybe you think that FIFA 17 is worse, then that's your opinion as well. Tell me your thoughts down below in the comments. Let's hit 2,000 likes, and also subscribe if you are new. We're so close to 250,000 subs, so let's hit that soon, boys. So, wish me luck. I'll see you guys later on, and peace out. Rockstar life, rockstar goal.